G'day Tiger fans and welcome to Richmond's live official weekly podcast Talking Tigers. Well, the lads are off to a flying start this season, sitting 4-0, and that's our best start to a season since 1995. But we're not getting ahead of ourselves, don't worry about that. We have a huge game coming up against Melbourne on Anzac Eve and an even huger podcast for you today. We're going to talk today, just and amongst other things, VFL records, Anzac heroes, Easter egg hunts, goalposts, tennis, singing a bit of karaoke, and you know what, Tone, we may even throw a little bit of football in there somewhere.
Just be different, yeah.
How are you guys?
Yeah, no, very good. Very good, JB.
Yeah, good to see you, Greeners.
Yes, you were up in Brisbane for the
I was,
win.
Yeah, it was good. Got back yesterday myself. The team got back Sunday night, so we're under a bit of pressure to get out of there, but that's not what the song is about.
Ah, okay.
What's the song about, JB?
Well, I didn't choose it, but that is not Vanilla Ice. That is
No.
Queen and David Bowie, two of the greats who are unfortunately no longer with us.
That's
But
true. Exactly. Gee, we have lost
under
both of them.
under pressure.
Under pressure.
What's it about?
Well, the Brisbane backline was under pressure from our three little amigos down there.
Yes, of course.
Rioli, Butts, and
I'll get you, Butler.
get
But they
you.
won't get him because he's too quick.
and Georgie.
Georgie boy.
They all
Georgie
played
boy.
pretty well again,
Oh,
Tone.
they did indeed. And you interviewed, JB, you interviewed Georgie after the game.
Yeah, well, we were under
Under
pressure,
pressure.
so it was a quick one. We were
But he
getting
said,
a hurry along.
He said that obviously it was great to get on the end of a few, and he kicked a career high, AFL career high 4 goals. But the main part of his game, and all those three small forwards, is applying intense pressure to the opposition.
And that's obviously their mindset when they go into the game.
Which is great.
And they're doing it very well at the moment.
Yeah,
Long
they've actually-
may it continue.
And they've actually kicked, I think, 20 out of we kicked 62 goals this year in total. And I think they've kicked 20 of them, so nearly a third. So
That's great.
It is
Yeah.
good. And yeah, 1 week it's
Yeah.
George's week to kick the goals, and then another week Daniel can do
Yeah.
it, or Butler as well. So it's good to share.
I think
it
it's seven to Rioli, 7 to Butler, and 6. No, it was 7-7-6 anyway. So
Do
it's
some
pretty.
homework, Tom.
No, it is. It's 7-7-6 they've kicked. It's
Okay.
20 between them.
Hey, you were listening to a radio station this morning, and Mike Sheen apparently gave Daniel a pump up.
He
Did he?
did give him a big pump up.
What did he say?
Well, the question was, could he be the best Rioli of them all? And then they said, well, no, Morris will be the best Rioli, but
Yeah.
he really likes him.
You never know. He might.
No,
go-
he could be, but Mike was very, very lavish in his praise of Daniel's ability and what he could achieve in the coming years.
Well, he doesn't like the Tigers much, Mike. I like Mike. I get along well with him.
No, I
but
think he
he's
was
coming
very good.
around, is he?
He's coming. He said, "Look," he said, "I know it's early days, and there's a long way to go, but he just really likes the way we're going about our footy at the moment."
Maybe being a past guest on the show has softened him a bit.
I think so. That's very
Talking
good point.
Tigers got him to like Richmond, did we? Of course. We won him over.
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, no, I think so.
Hey, Tone, a massive win in the VFL, and you've got a few. They've broken a few records.
Well, I have
apparently.
to thank Rhett Bartlett for
Yeah,
this,
of
because
course.
Rhett's done a great job to
Brett
come up with
knows
these.
more about Richmond than you.
Well, yes,
I
conservatively.
reckon that's a fair point.
Helps when your old man's played
Gee, you
403
didn't like
games.
that, actually.
Helps when your old man's played 403 games. No, he does. He knows going way back.
Way back.
I'm pretty good the last 50 odd years, but Rhett's an absolute historian for the club, so he goes all the way back. So
Give him to us.
so it was the third highest ever score by a Richmond reserve grade team.
Yeah.
Obviously the 33-21. And it was the second highest win ever by a Richmond reserve grade team. So the highest ever score and the biggest win ever was 37-30, 252 versus Geelong 1-5-11 in 1947 at Punt Road. And Francis Burke's father,
Frank Burke.
the late Frank Burke, kicked 13 goals. Frank was a really good player, and he
Yeah.
kicked quite a few goals. And didn't play long. His career was cut short with a knee injury.
Yeah.
But kicked quite a few goals in senior footy as well. But 13 goals. So when you consider all that, so it bettered a score of 32-19 against Fitzroy in 1966, and 31-18 against North Melbourne in 1981. So it went past that. So it's pretty big.
Very big win. We'll obviously talk more about that a little bit later on with our VFL man, Mac 3.
Yep, absolutely.
And
Now,
you
go.
You mentioned Frank Burke there.
Yes.
Dougal Jolly, who writes a piece for the website,
Yep.
I think spoke to Francis over the weekend
About Frank's
about
involvement
Frank,
in
because this week being
Yeah.
the Anzac Eve
Yeah,
clash against
sure.
Melbourne. So I'll look at it for that one on the website over the next couple of days.
I look forward to that.
And it's going to be a big clash, isn't it?
It'll be huge.
How many people, Tone?
Well, I said to you off, I wouldn't be surprised if there were 70.
I hope there is.
I think given a good night, reasonable weather, our supporters, will certainly want to get along, given the way the team's performing as well, and the Melbourne supporters and everything. So, and obviously we've created a tradition with this over the last couple of years, and it works really well at night. So,
And this is the third year, and even if you haven't been in the first couple of years, I've actually worked at the game once and been there as a supporter once, and it just works really well at night with the cauldron and obviously with it being pitch black with the lights off. It's,
for sure.
So if you haven't been as a Richmond supporter, do come along. It is a fantastic experience.
Yep. Now, I know I didn't put this on this wasn't on the run sheet, but
don't do this.
No, but just on Anzac Day.
Yeah.
So what do you think that the first biggest crowd on Anzac Day over 90,000, when would that have been?
The first one, I reckon.
94, was it?
You reckon? No.
When was it?
It was Anzac Day 1977 when Richmond played Collingwood. It was 92,000 plus there at the MCG.
Really?
Richmond v Collingwood. 1977. That was the year Tommy had taken over as Collingwood's coach after they'd won the Wooden Spoon in 76, so coming up against the Tigers for the first time. We got beaten by 26 points. There's a bloke by the name of David Miller, debuted for Richmond that day, kicked 5 in debut. Only played 5 games, I think, all up. But so 92,000 Anzac Day 40 years ago.
That gives me the idea to just remember Stump Greeners. I think we have got one today, but hashtag Talking Tigers, Stump Greeners. So hashtag us in if you want to stump Greeners, anything Richmond related.
Now, Job, I'm not sure if you watched any, the Good Friday appeals.
I did.
Record amount again.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and it's a huge day. And obviously, the game was well received. The Bulldogs and North.
That'll be a tradition now, won't it?
Good crowd and a good game. First half was ordinary, great second half and everything. But there was something that just spoilt the day, unfortunately.
Oh, what was that?
Well, obviously the appeal goes through till midnight. And
I watched it.
Did you?
The late part of it, yeah.
So the late part, they have a panel on, you know, and they have celebrities on. Now, I'm not sure how Matthew actually qualifies as a celebrity, but he was on.
No.
Well, because you're at Channel 7.
It was a sporting panel. And you had Dylan Alcott, of course, the tennis champion.
The young fella, Ollie.
Yeah.
Was it
young Ollie?
He was a superstar.
He was a superstar. He'll be working
showed a lot of people up.
Absolutely.
He obviously, Ollie had spent time in the Royal Children's Hospital, and he wants to get into that and he's a Richmond man, loves dust and money, wants to get into the media as he gets older.
Now, Dylan Alcott, he is a real all-rounder, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a very, very talented young man, and I didn't, obviously sporting-wise, but I didn't realise he's got a really good voice too, because he sang his favourite songs.
So the idea was that everyone had to do a bit of karaoke.
Yeah, and he really can hold a tune. He was very good. Lawrence Money is the comedian.
Lawrence Money.
Lawrence Money. That's showing. That is showing my age. Lawrence Money. I'm really showing my age.
Lawrence Money.
Is he still writing for the Herald?
Oh, you idiot.
Lawrence Mooney.
Lawrence Mooney.
Oh, well, I missed an O. Sorry.
So you're setting it up and you've mucked it up.
I've mucked it up. Lawrence Mooney, he sang, it gave a very good impersonation of the Prime Minister and sang a very good song, right? And then, of course, it was your turn.
Oh, no.
Goodness me.
Oh, no, I shouldn't sing.
Why do you sing?
I didn't want to, but it was for the appeal.
There was one song you should have sung as a Slade hit, Far, Far Away. That's what you should have sung, Far, Far Away.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah, not a patch on Lawrence Money anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not sure what was worse. Was it your singing or your tennis?
It was a big showcasing week of Richo last week.
What were you doing? You were on you interviewed for Raw Vision last week on
Ash
the website.
Barty,
Ash Barty is a
huge
massive Tiger fan.
Yeah.
So you had a bit of a hit up on the court with her?
You know what I've realised?
That you were totally unco.
I don't think I ever played football. It must have been someone else actually, because I cannot play any sport
I think
at
you've
all.
been possessed by someone else has gone inside your body.
Either that or after I finished playing football, I left my own body and someone else came in. I can't play sport. I'm not going to ever try and play any more sports.
No, well,
again.
don't play sport and don't sing.
Yeah, right.
A few of our current players and TT's former own Brett Deledio up in Sydney, they didn't miss you.
Oh,
Is
no,
that right?
They got into me on social media. I mean, one sport wonder, obviously.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I needed to bring up too, you keep banging on about this. It's back again. Your conspiracy theory about the goalposts, and you've gone on again over the weekend about it.
Okay.
Please, can you just enlighten us where we're at with this goalpost conspiracy theory?
Okay, so because you don't believe me and because no one believes me and thinks I'm mad, I've gone to Champion Data, who do all of the analysis and stats for the AFL and many other things.
Yep.
I've gone to the main man there, Glenn Luff, and he has collated goal-kicking set shot figures from before 1991, 2001 or 2, after the grand final where Rocker, the famous goal of Rockers that they reckon went over the post and shouldn't have been.
So, so when did they heighten the goalposts?
After that.
After that, okay.
After that grand final, the next year they heightened them. So I've got figures pre and after the posts got higher.
Right.
Okay, pre the posts being higher, it was 63% over the competition for set shots.
What was yours?
Mine was 63% as well, so I was on average.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
After the competition average...
How much high did they go up?
Oh, I'm not sure. At least a few metres, 2 or 3 metres.
Yeah.
Okay. After, they've gone down 3% to 60, and mine, I went down 7%. Those goalposts... I am owed a lot of goals by the AFL for putting up those goalposts.
So what you told me before off air, right, is that you want the Little League goalposts. You think should go in. That would be ideal.
I reckon they're about the right height because they couldn't possibly get in your head.
What about just two?
You wouldn't even be able to see them.
Just two holes in the ground or something.
Even some witches' hats would be better. At least then it wouldn't get in your head. You just kick the footy and anyway.
All right.
So anyway,
the cure for it.
You've got mail.
Ooh. Yeah, a couple of emails through during the week. First one was from Angela Gavin, wanting to know where the team song was after the game. What we can say is that Foxtel, they had a bit of a mix-up, so they didn't get the team song in the end, so that's disappointing.
Didn't get the song?
No, I think they got the last 30 seconds or so. But
I can't remember.
Anyway, that's not to be. We got an email from Jacob.
It's getting a bit monotonous anyway, us singing the song.
Tony.
I'm kidding.
We don't want
just
to
kidding.
Touch that.
I'm just kidding. Really, goodness me. No.
Jacob.
Johnny P's touching.
I'm only, seriously, I'm
Johnny
joking.
P's in. He loves
totally joking.
We got an email from Jacob saying, hey lads, it's a long time listener. Not sure how many times I've emailed, if ever, but welcome on board. Anyway, I'm keen to say how much I've enjoyed the podcast this season, even if you can't listen live, which is fine. His highlight of the season so far has been Cochin's return to form, which he thinks some of the Brownlow speculation didn't help him last year. But what do you got, Green?
No, well, I was just going to say, we spoke about Mike, mentioned him this morning, Mike Sheehan, too, because he didn't have him in his top 50 going into this year, but he reckons that was more just to get him fired up. I think Mike's taking credit for it.
He didn't have Trent
No, he didn't, but he said he's certainly in there now. He's just playing ferocious footy. Just his attack on the footy.
And his ball use is really good.
Yeah, no,
so thanks for that, Jacob. He also says, keep up the good podcast, boys, and I'm a massive fan of Greeners' joke section.
Well, he'll love them today.
Good work, Jake. Have you had them ticked off?
Not sure the one I told off here I can go with.
No, don't go with that.
No, okay.
We got one from David McCann finally saying, been a regular listener for the last few seasons, but the last few weeks he's been travelling in Malaysia and nothing made him more happier than returning from the rainforest covered in leech bites to find that the podcast had finally downloaded over the dodgy Wi-Fi. So thanks for keeping him in the loop.
Maybe he was. Maybe was it David there? Maybe David was the man that found that snake that swallowed the person.
And we do send our best to the family.
Leech bite might be Eric Leech bites. Do you think?
Oh, that's not good.
Okay. We've got a
few tweets
to get through. My Wi-Fi's.
What's wrong with your wife?
Oh, it's plenty, but my Wi-Fi is playing up. She doesn't listen. No, I'll send my best.
Doesn't she support you by listening to this?
No.
Does she ever listen?
I know what that's like.
I don't think so. Not a big Richmond fan.
Jen's never listened. Couldn't care less.
Yeah, we got a tweet through using hashtag Talking Tigers. The Wi-Fi is playing up. But from Whippet saying he was listening to last week's Talking Tigers on the train from Le Mans to Paris. So they're just rubbing it in. The King wanted to know whether we have any news on...
Wayne Carey?
No, Wayne Murphy. Close. He wants to know whether we got any updates on Silk Alice, so we might chat to Lou about that.
We'll ask him
a bit later. Brock has tweeted in saying one of the best things about the show is Richo trying not to laugh during the intro to Lou's Sting.
So
we'll see how it goes.
He was humming it before the show.
And Liam O'Brien is also on the VFL theme.
He was trying to sing it before the show, and he's just...
We had to cut him.
Yeah, no, I had to.
He's saying, if we thought Mac 3 was getting ahead of himself last week, just wait until he rolls up this week. So, a big VFL win, if you haven't heard. Ash Rodriguez tweeted us through. He was actually at the pre-game function in Brisbane last week, representing his TTT. which is good to see.
That's excellent.
I've got one from Benny Cashin. We haven't heard
Cash.
from
Oh, yeah.
Benny for a
Yeah,
while,
you're-
one of our favourite listeners. He said Liam McBean has kicked 10 goals in 2 games for Glenelg.
Saw that.
Benny reckons we should have kept him around. He'd be handy.
I think he had a big contingent of fans over there for the Easter weekend.
Went to school with a Craig Cash, and I wonder if Ben's related to Craig.
Not too sure.
Right. Perhaps Ben could
If he can
send it, let us
confirm
know.
or deny.
Yeah.
Simon Wallace has
Yeah,
tweeted
yes.
Yes.
in. And we'll
Okay.
get to this a bit later. He's dusty 16 touches. Ouch. I'm not sure what that's in reference to.
Well, yes, that's we've been trying to keep that quiet, but
And I've got one from the Tail, one of our favourite
Yes.
listeners, at Jones Racing 82. He says it's annoying that the media seem to barely have noticed our start. Well, I reckon the papers this morning, a few people did. I saw Johnny Ralph said something. He says, but overall, that's not a bad thing. You're under the radar. It's not a bad thing. I don't care
it
what
doesn't
they...
matter.
Yeah,
It doesn't
just
matter.
Keep winning, boys.
and look, as good as the wins are, and obviously the wins are the important thing, but the way the team is playing is the really pleasing part of that.
I think so. And Bretley Wilford wanted to continue the theme of last week's show. He's saying that we might start calling Daniel Rioli the Wizard because when he gets the ball in his hands, the magic starts to happen.
It does.
Christmas Smithers has picked up on Sean Griggs' game, just saying he was left out of some of the media outlets' votes, but
Just goes under the radar,
Can't
Griggy.
believe
I think
that.
we can classify us as a media outlet.
It's
so
happy birthday, Griggy, tomorrow too.
tomorrow.
It's
And
29.
Nick Floston as well tomorrow, is it?
I think you could be right there,
be right.
JB. Yeah. It
Well, speaking of
was Trent Cotchin's last week.
questions, here's a stump greeners for you,
Oh,
Richo. This is from
good.
Brendan Fisher. Wants to know what does Royce Hart have in common with Matthew Wade? And
The
one of-
wicket keeper, Matthew Wade.
Yes,
yeah.
and one of our opponents on the weekend, Mitch Robinson.
Well, they're all from Tasmania, for a start. And I would say, be more to another layer to that, I'd say they're all from Clarence, because that's where Royce was recruited from.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Wade.
I'll say they're all from Clarence. in
Well, I
Tasmania.
know Matty Wade played at Clarence because his
Okay.
old man Scotty played there.
Well,
Yep.
so I'm
Well,
not
he
sure
hasn't
about Mitch
supplied
Robinson.
an answer. So, Brendan,
Okay.
if you can get in touch, if
Yeah, let
that's
us
the
know.
answer,
Let us know.
it's pretty close too. Tig Tags are saying Sean Grigg is finally not overrated. Tom Rizza,
Underrated.
finally not underrated.
Underrated,
Sorry,
yeah,
yes.
yeah,
The tail's gone again with. Do you reckon Georgie Castagna should be this week's Rising Star
Well,
nomination?
I do, but I'm a bit biased.
Tom
Well,
Wright
certainly
or
do.
Tom Rizza? How good was Grimes' mark and goal? The first goal he's
Nice
kicked
to
since
yep.
round 2 2015.
No, it set
remember
the
against
tone,
the Bulldogs?
didn't it? Yeah, set the
It
tone
did,
for the
the
day.
tone.
Mm.
And a man we just can't get rid of at Brenton Mann. He believes he's
Manfred.
been misrepresented by some of us here, and then he's tweeted in a picture of the mug that he has at his desk.
And what's it got? Oh,
The Man written on it.
He's
You know-
suffering from,
He
isn't
is.
he? Relevance deprivation.
Manfred, but since he left Talking
can't believe
Tigers,
it.
he's not getting enough publicity and
No.
he can't handle it.
What you need to know is once you leave this, once you're out of the team,
Just
at the
move
inner,
on.
that's it. Gone.
Like,
You're out. Like Brett
I
Delidio.
haven't missed Manfred at all. Like, have you? Have you missed him?
Manfred who?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And finally, Ando wants to know about the second key forward option for this weekend, so we might talk to Lou about that as well. So,
Yep.
thanks to everyone for tweeting in.
Yeah, good
Excellent.
stuff. Hey, I know a fair bit about the Chief boys.
Yeah, you do.
You know, we both...
Teammates.
Yeah, teammates. We
Tasmania.
both grew up in Tassie and
Yep,
you know,
yep.
spent a lot of years playing together. We actually,
Yep,
we
knocked
both
around
lived in
together.
Elwood.
That's
We
right.
used to have a beer together from
Yeah.
time to time until the Chief decided I wasn't in the class that he's in. He hangs out with high-level people these days, and I'm not one of those.
No.
So I know a lot about him. But
Lucky,
one
you
thing...
never sang in his band. He never asked
I
you.
ne- no, I never,
Ah,
no, I
okay,
never
yeah.
sang in trial by video. But one thing I would never have accused the Chief of being is tight. You know, I always thought, you know, when you went out for a beer, he always shouted.
Often shouts the staff
The pizza?
pizzas.
Yeah.
No,
and
that,
everything, yeah.
he doesn't. The club pays
Oh,
for
yeah,
those.
that's a good point.
Right?
Sorry.
I would never have thought he was tight, but on the weekend, yes.
Came to the fore.
It's come to the fore, boys. He was up in Brisbane, obviously, the Chief. He took young Donovan up there, and he...
Test the phones.
Yeah, Donnie was up there. No, they didn't go into the coach. No, he listened.
No.
He listened, JB, didn't go into the coach's box.
Barmy's banned him from
Barmy
it.
told him not to go in there again. Young Donovan, the girls, they're up in Brisbane. They wake up on Sunday morning, game day.
Oh,
obviously,
very
Easter
very
Sunday.
excited. Very, yeah.
No Easter eggs.
What?
No Easter eggs.
Oh, they would have been shattered.
You know what he's done?
He didn't say that
he did a little
something
bit of
happened to the Easter Bunny.
No, he did a little bit of homework, and he found out that up in Brisbane there was a free Easter egg hunt down at Everton Park in Brisbane.
How far is that from the Gabba?
Oh, it's a fair way. He has taken the kids out there to do the Easter egg hunt.
Did he Uber out?
Yeah, so that he didn't have to buy his own kids' Easter eggs. That's a disgrace.
That's just appalling.
And just to top it off, once he got out there, he tried to enter the egg and spoon race, and they said there was an age limit of 12 on it. So, Chief, fair dinkum, mate. Buy your kids some Easter eggs.
That's just terrible.
That's ridiculous.
That's shocking.
Tight.
It's funny that when we were in Brisbane,
Don't talk across his sting, mate.
Sorry. Well, we want to talk about news. The lead story on Channel 7 News was there was a punch-on between kids at the Gold Coast Easter egg.
Maybe the Chief took them down there as well to the Gold Coast.
It's not really in the spirit of Easter, is it?
I don't think so.
I wouldn't
Anyway,
have thought
it's
so,
time
no.
to sharpen up because this week the big
Oh,
Anzac
yes.
Eve clash, which we've talked about. There's a new Anzac Eve membership which will get you a reserve seat on level 1 or level 2-8 for this week's game, but also general admission to 3 additional Richmond home games for the rest of the season. So
That's pretty good.
you can
That's pretty
find
good.
out more about that at membership.richmondfc.com.au and just on the pre-game ceremony.
No, I was just going to... I'll ask it after you've gone through this.
You know my Wi-Fi's not working. If you,
I just
you
want to know
the
the membership
tally?
total. Sorry. Go on.
You stumped me.
No, go on. Stump JB.
So the fans are encouraged to get to next Monday night's game early at 6:45 p.m. Still a week to go, so plenty of time to plan for the pre-match Anzac ceremony, which includes performance by the Defence Force Band, minus Richo. The delivery of...
Sorry,
Yes.
I didn't want to interrupt you again, but
Well,
I
you do
love...
stop interrupting.
No, I just have to say, I love the Defence Force
They're
Band. I love things like that. In the old days at grand finals, used to have the Defence Force Band going around playing, song. Brilliant.
Yeah, would have been better than Meatloaf.
Well, wouldn't be hard.
the
You'd be better than Meatloaf.
The flame from the Shrine of Remembrance will be delivered by the Creswick Light Horse Troop, and it will be delivered to the parents of Cameron Baird, who was a commando killed in action in Afghanistan in 2013 and a posthumous recipient of the Victoria Cross. And I think we'll have a story on that and possibly a video from the Australian story that they did back in 2014 on our website over the next few days. And finally, the last post and the national anthem in the build-up to the game. So get on out to the MCG next Monday night for the traditional Anzac Eve clash. And some good news to finish on with the injury list is there were no additions to it over the weekend in VFL or AFL level. The two ones who didn't get up were Ben Griffiths and Ivan Maric with concussion and back respectively, so they face a fitness test again.
Do you reckon Griff will come up then this week?
I'm not too sure.
No,
So
not many.
That's probably...
They normally don't miss 2 weeks with concussion. do
No,
they?
I think he's
I don't
just
know.
got to get through the fitness test, so he'll be given till Sunday to do that. So,
Shedder? What about
Shedder
Shedder?
is still 2 to 4 weeks away with his hip.
Okay, yep.
And the other 3 are on the long-term injury list with Hampson, Graham, and Nathan Broad.
You forget how, with the small forwards, to add Shedder into,
Shedzy.
and he was just starting to find a bit of form.
Oh, well, we'll get him back.
Yeah,
for the,
yeah.
when-
Absolutely.
Oh, jeez. I feel like going to sleep. It just brings the show down,
As
JB.
long as you don't sing to this, that's all we ask.
Is that
Doesn't bring
Swan
it
Lake?
down.
Is that...
It's not Swan
What
Lake.
is it?
It's the Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy. I don't know. Oh, no, I do. It's the... Bolero. Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Steve.
Scones is well and truly over.
Yeah,
the
he's over the
premiership
hangover.
hangover.
He's over that. He's sharp. He's right on the money for this week. It's a big week for him this week. Well, I just thought in the with Anzac Day, and this is obviously I want to preface it with that you can't compare obviously what's happened in war to football or everything. So we know that, but the Anzac medal that's handed out obviously with the Collingwood-Essendon game.
Yeah.
So that is.
So this is what it's signifies.
So this is what the top 10 Tigers who exemplify the Anzac spirit. So the medal is given out for those that play the player that shows skill, courage, self-sacrifice, teamwork, and fair play.
Yeah.
So these are my top 10 Tigers who exemplify the Anzac spirit.
Remember, we would like this to be succinct.
Well, this will be quick, or I'm going through in alphabetical order. So this is not in any particular. This is alphabetical order. Number 1, Francis Burke. I don't think anyone could argue with the great Francis Burke.
No
could they?
way. Played with a broken leg that day at Arden Street, with
just
blood
his
streaming.
courage and just extraordinary. Number 2, I've got Paul Broderick.
Brodders.
Brodders was just real team player, tough, skillful.
No, he was a team player.
He was,
Brodders.
wasn't he?
Selfless,
Team first.
Selfless.
Really selfless, yep.
Yeah, saw him the other day, Brodders.
Yeah?
He was wearing the same suit.
He wasn't wearing that skinny tie.
No,
he loved the skinny
and
ties.
You know what he had on it? Chambray shirt.
Oh,
Who
no.
wears chambray shirts?
Obviously Brodders.
Yeah, Brodders does. Worst dress sense of all
Yeah,
time.
no idea. Number 3, Roger Dean. Obviously, Roger Dean was a homecoming hero a few weeks ago. Just a tough player, courageous, skillful, even an absolute ripper. Number 4, I've got Tony Free. Former captain.
He was as hard
Wasn't
as a cat's head,
but
Tony
skillful
Free.
too.
Yeah.
Skillful player and just, really, really hard,
Ball
courageous
magnet,
player.
Fraser.
Absolutely, yep. Number 5, I've got a triple premiership player, Mervyn Kane. Just a great, really underrated player, Merv Kane. He's in Team of the Century, so he can't be that underrated, but just did everything so well, had courage and skill and real team player. Number 6, I've got another former teammate of yours, Duncan Kellaway. Duncan's just...
He was the most courageous player that
And
I've
a team player, wasn't he?
ever
Totally.
played with,
really?
and I reckon ever seen. He
Really?
was fearless on the ground,
Yeah.
absolutely fearless.
Yep. Some of the jobs he took on to take on, the likes of Carey, like he was just give away...
Undersized.
Give
He
away.
played on Plugger one day.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Now, number 7, Matty, I've got your old man Bull at number 7.
Oh, thanks.
Just his courage. He was a team player, so creative, obviously, with his handball, revolutionised, along with Polly Farmer, revolutionised the game back then with his play, and very skillful and courageous player. So Bull, number 7. Number 8, I've got Maurice Rioli at number 8. Just an unbelievable player, Morris. I mean, he gets in a lot of these categories, but just with his skill, his
He's
courage.
been in every top 10 list you've had so far.
Yeah, I think he has.
Shows you how all-rounder player he was.
Yeah, number 9, I've got the Flea, Dale Waitman.
Yeah.
What a player. Just carried it for a long
He was
time.
just out there before.
He was,
right?
that's why I had to mention him. Yeah, but great. Skill, courage, teamwork, magnificent. Number 10, I've got Brian Wood. Woody was, again, triple
I saw
premiership
Woody the
player.
other day.
Yeah.
He still looks about
he
35.
He does.
He just looks magnificent.
Yeah, and just a really, really skillful, courageous player and team first player. And I need to probably apologise, and this bloke will eventually get in this list one day, if I do this list again, but Alex Rance, current day players. I just was putting former players in, but he was a
I'm going to
ripper.
throw 2 in that you missed that I reckon I played with.
Yeah, go on.
And Andy Kellaway.
Yeah, well,
he was tough.
Absolutely was.
And Mark Coughlin.
Yeah, they were on my list. They were on my potential list
that's
too.
all right. So
I only put sort of former players in. Otherwise, I would have had Ramsey.
Yes, Roland. Roland's just walked in.
Yeah, Roland.
How are you, Roland?
Yeah. All right.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
We're 4-0, mate. You can't be that
No,
mad.
it's nothing to do with us.
Oh, okay. Right.
It's to do with this farcical ruck situation
Oh,
we
it
have.
is farcical, isn't it?
Farcical.
Oh, farcical, yeah.
Oh, it's just everyone's confused. Absolutely, everyone's confused.
Well,
I've had
can you
enough.
complain? Can you sort
I
of
think
explain
everyone
any
is.
of it to me?
Oh, I don't know what's going on.
Really?
Yeah, coaches are exploiting it. It was an unnecessary change, I thought, in the first place. But I understand, ruckmen were getting need. And I saw Chris Judd wrote today that he thought it's brought the artwork of ruck back in, because they can... Yeah. Well, he just thinks they're not getting belted around. They can actually use their hands at stoppage. And I respect Juddy. That's fair enough. But why don't they this is what they just need to do.
Well, I went with this last week.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
But
why
I'm
are you
saying
going
it
with
again because I'm hoping that
why
Gil's
does
listening.
it have more impact because you say it than if I say it?
Possibly.
Because
Oh, probably.
nobody knows.
As long
who
as you don't sing it.
Nobody knows who you are. That's why.
Lawrence Money does.
So hopefully, Gil, if you're listening, this is all you need to do.
Well, Gil will be listening.
You just blow the whistle if a third man up goes up.
Yes.
So basically,
Exactly right. You don't have to put your hand up.
each team is just well organised.
One bloke goes
One
up.
bloke goes up, and if a third bloke goes up, blow the whistle.
Yep.
So just do that, and if you don't do that,
Could
I
that be
agree with Nathan Buckley.
Yeah.
And I've said this before on Talking Tigers. Can we just have a 3 or 4 year period where we don't change any
A
rules?
moratorium.
Yeah, a moratorium. I've said
A
it
what?
before.
A moratorium?
Lawrence moratorium we'll have. We're going to have a Lawrence moratorium.
All right, okay, let's do that.
And just no more rule changes.
Fair enough.
Oh, well, that's time.
Except for the goalposts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only one.
VFL time.
You're looking sharp. You're looking good. You've come so far. And we know how to make the most of who you are. you let the best of man to get.
Oh, it's just an absolutely magnificent sting that one is for our man Mac
Well,
3.
there was no close shave on, it's fair to say, though, was
It
it?
certainly wasn't a close shave. Louis, thanks for joining us, mate. But just before you get into the report, you may be getting ahead of yourself like your predecessor, Manfred. Man, you don't even bother turning up now. You just call in. What's happening?
Oh, sorry guys, I didn't think I was getting too ahead of myself here.
Goodness,
I had
mate.
to be summoned home over the Easter break, so I've had to go over the phone just to make this one work. So apologies for my absence, gentlemen. Hopefully, though, there's unfortunately not a great deal to talk about with the round one. It was a bit of a smashing in the end.
It was enormous, wasn't it? I guess the good thing about it, Louis, is plenty of guys played well again, and it just really keeps the pressure on for positions at senior level.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, looking through the stat sheet, there's some pretty ridiculous numbers for some of our AFL boys. Ben Lennon, 6 goals, 18 touches. Sam Lloyd, 5 goals and 27 touches. And one of the standouts as well, I thought, was Anthony Miles. He ended up with 35 disposals, 10 clearances and 2 goals. So as you say, Richo, the pressure's on those senior boys because there's a couple of guys who, playing on Sunday, really showed that they're ready to step up to that next level.
You did mention Ben Lennon's 6 goals there. I saw some of your tweets throughout the game. They obviously just weren't easy ones in the goal square. Some were from long range as well.
That's right. Ben actually had a few ones kind of close in from close range, and he actually put them off. He finished on 6-3 for the day, but I think he hoisted about 3 or 4 from outside the arc. So he had his iron from long range, and it was great to see Ben. He also ended up with 8 marks on the day as well with his 18 touches. So it was a really well-rounded game from him, and obviously it's good to see him hitting the score sheet big time like that as well.
Now, Louis, obviously everything's generated in the set of bounces with a big win like that. Big Ivan Soldo, did he get everything rolling there?
To say he got everything rolling would be a bit of an understatement. Big Ivy, he ended up with 54 hit-outs for the day. Just an absolutely unbelievable number, especially when you consider that North Ballarat ended the day with 14 hit-outs in total, which is even a total that Mabior Chol ended up beating himself. He had 15 hit-outs. So, yeah, I think to say that Ivan dominated the ruck would probably be a bit of an understatement. Greeners in total.
And Jacob Townsend, he continued his pretty good form.
Yeah, absolutely. Another one of the AFL guys who had a really well-rounded game. 5 goals for Jacob in the end. 21 touches as well. 6 clearances, so he was everywhere. He was in the middle and he was also going forward to great effect. He also laid 6 tackles as well, so his intensity was fantastic from start to finish. He's another one of those guys who is really stepping up and showing that he can take that step to the next level.
Nathan Drummond had 11 tackles, so clearly he's starting to find his feet and feel confident in his knee.
Yeah, absolutely. He attacks the contest, with such tenacity and such vigour. It's really great to see. 11 tackles, like you say, that was a huge number. He finished with just 13 touches for the day, which is one of the smaller numbers. But when you consider kind of how little the ball was up his end, I think that's a pretty decent return from him. But as you say, Richard, it's great to see him have that sort of confidence to go into every contest. And that tackle number is just an absolute monstrous effort from him.
Absolutely. Louis, what about another promising young player, Corey Ellis? How did he go?
Yeah, Corey Ellis was good. He ended up with 19 touches on the day. He was working pretty tirelessly around the ground. Laid 4 tackles as well, and 5 marks too for Corey. So of the midfield brigade, he was perhaps, you could say, the most quiet, but he still put in some very hard yards and he was running out the contest very well. And great stuff from Corey too.
Just a bit more info on Sammy Lloyd's game. You mentioned he had the 5 goals, but was he playing further up the field or closer to goal this week?
Yeah, we saw him a bit closer to goal this week, Sammy Lloyd, and that's obviously a position we've seen him play at AFL level to really excellent effect. And he ended up actually with 5-4 for the day, so a couple of misses there as well. But we also saw him get 27 touches, and an outstanding stat I thought was his 13 marks. So he was really leading forward well, really presenting a fantastic option for our midfield who were just running right all day long. So one of the better performers on the day, Sammy Lloyd.
What about Stevie Morris?
Yeah, Stevie Morris, obviously, like I was saying just before with Drummo, the ball wasn't really going down their end a whole lot. So he finished with 14 touches for the day, but he did some good work with it. Also laid 4 tackles as well, so he was really getting involved in the contest too. So Stevie, like I say, he did as much as he could with as little footy as he got.
Okay, Louis, one more before we let you go. Craig McRae obviously would have been happy after the game, but was he almost surprised by how good we were? I know Fly thought we had a really good list together, but even that must have surprised him, the margin.
Yeah, he was taken aback a bit, Fly, with obviously nearly winning by 200 points. It's always a bit of a surprise. But he was also really happy and really proud of the boys, as you'd imagine. What really struck him the most is that even when the game was so far gone, even after the first quarter when we're up by 50-odd points, that the boys really didn't let up in their pressure. They really continued attacking every ball. Every time it went up the other end, they would, defend with their lives. They really just gave it everything they've got. So he was just really, really pleased with the way they kind of never dropped off. They kept the same tenacity from quarter to quarter.
All right, beautiful, mate. Where are we in round 2?
So round 2, we're at Trevor Barker Oval, boys. Sandringham is our opposition who we're coming up against. So it's obviously going to be a big challenge. One of the big things that Fly actually pointed out for us as well was that in the build-up, Sandringham have actually beaten Essendon, who, as we know, in one of our practice games, they actually beat us by about 10 goals. So we know we're up for a great challenge, and but obviously going into the contest with an almost 200-point win under our belt, anything is possible. So we've got a lot of confidence going into it.
Thanks, Louis, and make sure you turn up next week.
Good on you, mate.
I'll do my best, boys. I'm a man in demand these days.
Oh, a bit of Manford style. See you, mate. Do you reckon he's starting to?
They just get ahead of
They
themselves.
do. It must. Is it us? Do we?
I think it is. I think they try and keep up with us, but they can't. There's no way that they can. So,
No, thanks, Louis. He's doing a great job covering our VFL games every single week. Hey, let's go to the Brisbane game down now, have a little bit of a look at it. But I just want to play a grab from Damien Hardwick.
Yeah, within the game and probably from an individual point of view, we probably have a lot of standout players tonight, but I think the great thing, and I love it as a coach, is we don't rely on, probably as the year previous, the same old players getting kicks and kicking goals. So, it's great to see some of those, I don't like the term second tier, but they're very important players for us to consistently get better. So I'm really happy with those guys and how they've gone about it.
JB, we were talking off air about the importance of players like Dave Asprey and Reece Conker, touch wood, to have some continuity now in their footy, and you're just seeing what they're capable of producing.
Well, that's right. And we spoke earlier in the show about Dylan Grimes and taking that mark and kicking the goal as well. So, yeah, I mean, Dimmer was spot on there. It wasn't Dustin doing the job, and Koch played really well, I thought, and led the charge. But it was the other guys who came with him. And
no one racked up, apart from Grigor, who got 31, no one racked up big numbers, did they?
Well, Dave had the most. Dave Asprey had the most possessions at half-time,
which is really good.
I just want to mention Dave. I just rapped for him. I think he's playing great footy. He's had many goals kicked on him. I'd love to know how many he's had kicked on him in the first 4 games. He's going really well.
Well, that was like his start to, season about 2 or 3 years ago. He was leading the BNF until unfortunately got injured. So,
and the defence is ranked number 1 in the competition at the moment.
Well, what Dave does is, free up Rancy to either go the second option or float off and play his natural game. So, I mean, the importance of Dave at the moment is huge.
Just needs to work on his left foot a little bit, doesn't he? Yeah.
Well, he did everything right until the kick. But,
just a little bit. Yeah. But, no, look, very pleasing. I thought Dion Prestia was really good too. And, Press and Caddy have really just given us structurally, really given us a boost. There's no doubt about that. We've touched on the small forwards and the pressure they apply and the goals that they're scoring as well. Jack's game, I mean, kicked 4 goals and just was really dangerous. Looked dangerous
all day.
What about his goal? It was a ripping goal.
That's got to be another nomination.
Yeah,
Have they come out?
It is.
Hey, did Daniel win Goal of the Week?
That's a good point.
Not too sure.
Should have won.
We've got 67,624 members, so that'll be my next thing to work on.
Yeah, work on that. Okay.
That was a tough week for him because there were a few good ones, but I think Jack should have this one covered.
Yeah. Solid win. And we're
very even.
4 and zip, and we haven't been...
Don't say zip. I'm going to get a zip jar. There's a zip jar as of next week, and you will put coins in every time you say zip.
And that is the first time since 95 when we won the first 8, wasn't it, or 7?
A long time ago.
So it is a good start.
Yeah, that was the year that you did your knee. I shouldn't have brought it up.
Oh, thanks.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
What are your votes then, Tom?
I gave 3 to the man that is no longer an underrated player, Sean Grigg. Happy birthday to him for tomorrow, 29 tomorrow. He's the oldest player in the team. He has been this season so far. So I just his work rate,
consistency.
His work rate, his composure with the ball. Didn't kick a goal on the weekend, but he's kicked some big goals, a couple of really big goals this year. So I just love the way he's going about his footy. Just keeps on keeping on. 2 to Jack because he was dangerous all day. Kicked the 4, which is most he's kicked for a couple of years. So equal most.
Is
But,
that right?
Yeah, it is. But he was just...
But he hasn't kicked 5 for what?
No, I'll come up to that when I get the Yellow and Black Book specials, Matty. Yeah.
All right, sorry.
Okay, no, that's
I'm
all right.
do-
Look
I'm
at the run
doing-
sheet. Look
I'm
at the run
doing what
sheet.
you do. It's
Yeah, I
taking
know.
no notice of the run sheet.
Yeah, good point, good point. So I gave him 2. I gave 1 to Georgie Boy because George kicked 4, could have kicked 6 and was really lively. And it was just interesting to find out. I listened to another interview that George gave, apart from the one you did with him on Raw Vision.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
And how he got the nickname George, of course, because George Costanza from Seinfeld. It was given to him by David Flood, who was his junior football coach.
Yeah,
and
good bloke, Floody.
Flood's a ripping bloke, obviously a big Seinfeld fan.
Yeah.
Georgie had no idea who George Costanza was or
Jason
Seinfeld.
had no idea who George Costanza
No,
was.
Jason had
He's
no
never
idea
heard
who
of
Jason
Seinfeld.
Alexander was, who is
He's
George.
never heard of Seinfeld.
No, he had to Google
Oh,
it.
that sums
Kids
up.
these
Kids
days.
Google it. Yes, that's
Kids
right.
these days.
Anyway,
All right,
Yourself
what
a
about you,
favour.
JB?
Yeah, pretty similar to Greeners. I gave 3 to Sean Grigg. Just been at the ground, he just bobbed up everywhere, 31 touches and 9 inside 50s, and was just on the end of most chains. So he got 3 votes. Another one who bobbed up in the right spot and got on the end and converted his goals were Jason Castagna as well. So I gave him 2 votes, and 1 vote to Jack Rewalt as well. I think he kicked some really important goals, and the one in the last quarter especially. So 1 vote to him.
Good
Very
work,
good.
boys. Well, I'm very similar. I gave my 3 to Griggy. I love the way he's playing. Mr. Consistency. Good bloke. And I'm just rapt to see him playing how he is at the
he's
moment.
going all right without his best mate here too, isn't
I
he?
know, yeah. Without Lidsey, boy, he must have found a new mate. I gave 2 to Georgie,
Georgie Boy.
and not for the 4 goals, but for what he built that 4 goals on.
Pressure.
His pressure.
Under pressure.
And that's what Dimmer rates him on. And if he
Yes.
gets the goals, that's a bonus.
Yeah.
I gave 1 to Down Prestia. Sorry, Jack.
Not happy with Jack?
No, I'm very
He'd be
happy.
filthy on you.
Well, he doesn't listen, does he?
Yeah, he does.
Sorry, Jack, if you do. You should have got the 1 vote nearly. But
You should have got the 1 vote nearly. That's good English.
but I gave 1 to Down Prestia.
Fair enough.
I thought he was solid all night. But I gave it to him for his 7 tackles. A
Okay.
game high for us, 7 tackles.
100th game. He and Josh, his good mate, Josh Caddy, this week, 100th AFL
Yeah,
game.
so 7. So the leaderboard, Dusty still in front. 22, Koch 13. Dion's moved into 3rd on 6. 4 to Big Nank, Big Nanky boy. 4 to Rance, 2 to Butler, 2 to Conker, and 1 to Castagna.
Right.
What?
You just confused me with your leaderboard there.
Why?
Well, I had 22 Martin, 13 Koch, and 9 Griggs,
Oh,
7
sorry.
Prestia.
I got the old
6
run
Costanza.
Oh, that's the old run sheet. That's the run sheet I did. Sorry.
We'll do it again.
Hey, boys, I'll just do those votes for us.
Good.
22 to Martin, 13 to Koch. 9 to Grigg.
You've had a Lawrence Money moment
I
there.
have. 9 to Grigg. I thought I printed out a new run sheet, but I got last week's votes on there. 9 to Grigg, 7 to Prestia, 6 to Castagna, 4 to Nankervis Rance, 3 to Rewalt, 2 to Butler, and 1 to Conker.
Very good.
Ah.
Excellent.
Can I? Now let me have that one.
Oh, please.
Because I need to put that with my old ones. You have that.
Right.
Smack me knee on the desk.
Oh, you're off and racing, yeah.
Oh, Johnny, you better pipe down, mate, or I'll come over and whack you.
Righto. Well, who's got? Well,
We have to.
we have to
You have
address
to
this.
lead us off.
I think the club has addressed this
What?
with you. You need to be stood down.
Why?
You need to be stood down. It was preposterous what you went with last week. It was the easiest thing of all time. Okay, that it was a cop out that you said that that Dustin Martin.
Hey, well, can we?
Yeah,
let's
let's replay.
replay
Yeah,
it.
no, let's replay. Yeah.
So this week,
So what are you going to do? You going out on a limb this week?
yeah, no, I'm not.
Well, what do you got?
I need a win. You know
What do
when
you got?
You know when you need a win? Like, I desperately need a win.
So it's
So
the get
I
out.
think Dustin Martin will
Raise
have
it
20 plus disposals this week.
So he's going to play a shocker. He's playing a shocker then.
Oh,
Is
you want me to add a layer then?
Or add a layer?
He'll have 3 inside 50s.
Oh, I don't think we can allow that.
No,
Well, we'll give you a tick for the 3 inside 50.
Yeah, that was spot on.
That was good.
I can't
That was
believe it.
good. He's had 16 touches.
I cannot believe it.
He's had 16.
I've jinxed
You've
Dustin.
absolutely jinxed him, right? So you are not allowed to pick a senior player this week, all right? So what you can do is you can pick a Melbourne player and go for a red and blue book special, all right, to go jinx a Melbourne player. or you can go with the VFL, but you're not touching, because Barmy said you're not allowed to touch any of the senior players.
First time since the Anzac Eve match last year where he didn't have 20 plus touches.
Well, I'm glad I didn't do it for this one.
Atrocious.
So I've got to do someone from the VFL.
Oh, yeah.
I still need a win, though.
Yeah.
Anthony Miles will have 20 touches.
In the VFL.
In the VFL.
Oh, okay. Bravery. That's so brave.
I need a win. I've lost
You want to put a layer to it? You get a couple of inside 50s?
No, nothing.
Oh, jeez.
Just 20 touches.
You are running scared now.
Good luck,
I can't
Milesy, for the
believe it.
weekend.
Wow. JB, what did you have last week?
Last week I had... Firstly, I got to apologise to my wife for earlier. Without her, I wouldn't be here. So that's going in the yellow and black book special.
That's your mum. You and me without your mum.
Last week I went for Toby Nankervis to have more tackles than Stephen Martin.
Ooh, how'd you go?
He did that.
Oh,
so
good
that's
work.
a tick.
Good work.
I think
You're in form at the moment.
I needed a win, and I got it.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I think Toby had 4 tackles and Martin 2, so that was a bit of an easy one.
What are you going to do this
week? I've gone, because I think he's in pretty good form, but I don't want to moz him, Reece Conker to have over 20 touches and 6 rebound 50s.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Look, I was very unlucky again. I'm just not
Why
quite
can't you
there.
put your hand up like
No,
I did?
I was really stiff. I had Josh Caddy last week for 20 plus disposals. I think he had 18 and then multiple goals. He kicked one. So I was just off, only slightly off. But this week I'm going for Jack Rewalt to kick 5 goals or more for the first time since mid-2015. So he hasn't done it since then, so I'm going for him to kick 5 goals or more this week.
I like it.
There you go. Hey, I had one on Twitter. I was going to try and find someone that sent in one, but I can't find it. So, Johnny, what's your yellow and blacker? Give us one quickly.
Let's throw him.
Jack to kick 5 and 6.
There's an echo in the room.
All right.
There's an echo.
As Johnny just repeated yours.
He can't trust the off-air talent.
A lot riding on Jack this week.
Yeah, there is.
There is. So it is a big game, Anzac
is.
Day Eve. So each week, where do you reckon it's going to be won?
Well, obviously it's in the midfield. That's where it'll happen. That's where it'll all happen in the midfield. And obviously the last 3 years, Melbourne's beaten us, and they've probably beaten us because they've been harder at it, and they've won the contested ball count.
Well, they're normally a
the
pretty
last 3
good
years.
contested ball
They
team.
are.
Clayton
They
Oliver's
are.
going to be a star. He's a contested ball machine.
Yep. Viney, obviously.
Yeah.
Jones.
Yep.
Nathan
yeah,
Jones.
Nathan Jones. Yeah.
And did you just see that look in Goody's eye? And
Although they were filthy that they lost that game. They'll be breathing fire. But, it's a big game for us too.
I've just got a feeling that I might have mucked up my yellow and blacker again.
Already?
I just think I've just got a feeling Milesy might come in.
Play. So you'll stuff that up
No,
again.
I just realised. You know why?
Well, you're not...
Well, you put me on the spot with the
Well, you
VFL.
just got to lay off. Don't mention any more about it.
No, but I just think he'd be a
Reckon?
pretty handy inclusion this week because it's going to be red-hot contested footy. Goodwin was filthy.
Yep.
And I just think Milesy just gives you that extra one through there who can win contested ball. We had 20 contested balls in the VFL.
Okay. Or do you go the other way a bit and try and get him on the outside too?
No, I think you win it at the source.
Okay,
I reckon
alright,
our run
okay.
spreads on.
A bit of both. Yeah, we just got to, stop their entries into the forward 50.
Sure.
I think that's what cost us the last few times against them. And,
Absolutely. They get Hogan back this
Hogan
week.
back from a breather. So
Dave or Rancy on Hogan?
I reckon
Dave?
Interesting one.
It'll be interesting, that one.
Yeah, it will be.
I'll tell you who you got to watch down there.
Who?
Gee, Garlett's playing well.
Yeah, no, very good play. Grimesy on
Grimesy.
Garlett.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, mind you, they'll have their hands full with our 3 small forwards too.
Yeah,
so
they will.
Look, it shapes as an absorbing contest.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. But the midfield battle will be huge.
as we sit here, it's just
Hey,
about
don't
7
I-
days to go too, so plenty of time to plan for it.
Yep.
Don't underestimate Big Spencer in the ruck. He played okay on the weekend, kicked 2 goals on Big Sandy.
Yep. No, not underestimating him.
Good. Don't.
Sat there and smiled at me. Then I knew.
Well, I just thought we'd look very quickly at a few things that were happening around this time 50 years ago, just worldwide. Okay, so Soviet cosmonaut Vladimir Komarov was killed when he saw his spacecraft crashed to Earth after coming out of orbit. So he's only 40. So it was obviously a tragic event there. Muhammad Ali was stripped of his world heavyweight title for formally refusing to be inducted into the US military service for the Vietnam War.
That was massive, wasn't it?
Oh, it's huge. It was huge. And he said that as a minister in the black Muslim faith, he couldn't be true to his religion by taking up arms. And his quote was, classic quote, all-time classic quote, "I ain't got no quarrel with them Viet Cong," he said. So he didn't He didn't fight for was out for about 2.5. Well, about
You know how he made his money in those 2.5 years?
What, went on
Doing
the circuit?
speeches and around all the unis and
Bit
colleges.
Like you.
No.
Yeah.
You must have a good website.
Good website. Would have been
Has
real
he-
good.
Did he speak at a Rabbitohs game? That's
Oh, no, very good point. No,
He never reached
he
those.
never reached those heights. Oh, no. And Athens was under curfew and martial law after the right-wing army officers had seized power from the democratic government. So it was a little snapshot of what was happening around the world. Now, at Tigerland, obviously, we had the great start. Royce's debut, 3-7 on debut, beat Essendon, a good side in Essendon. So round 2, we've gone out to Western Oval. And what normally happened when Richmond went out to Western Oval?
What?
We got beaten.
Did we?
Oh, yeah. So they were the underdogs.
Why did we lose out there all the time?
We lost there. I reckon every premiership year just about we had, we'd get beaten out at the
right?
Western Oval. So this particular day, obviously inaccurate kicking has been a big discussion point in AFL football.
Well, you know
this
why.
year.
It's always windy
Because
out at the Western
and the
Oval.
goalposts were probably too high then too. But this particular day we kicked 8-22 against Footscrow's 12-6. In the third quarter alone, 1-12 in the third quarter. So, not great. Your old man was one of the good contributors that day, Matty. He had 14 kicks and 9 handballs, 10 marks. Royce, second up, was pretty
10
good.
marks for the ball.
Yeah, he took 10 marks. Yeah,
Didn't know he marked it that
There
much.
you go. Royce, second up, was pretty good. 16 kicks, 1 handball, 9 marks. 2 goals apiece to Johnny Northey and KB. But Brian Recollet, who was writing in was a former Melbourne player writing in the Footy Week, this was his quote: "The Tigers were no more than a shadow of their real selves and must realise quickly that to be a finals proposition, they must treat every game as a final." Well, so we
Summed it up
recovered
pretty
about
well.
that, yeah. So there you go.
So round 2, we lost it.
Round 2, lost.
Witten
It was a
Oval.
boil over and we lost there. Yep.
I just want to say this again, right? So our listeners don't realise that you've got a little spiral, little notepad there that you have your Spirit of 67 stuff on.
Yes.
You had your top 10 written on that.
Yes.
Why don't you write your gags in that little book as well? Why do you have them in your pocket on Post-it notes?
What does it
just-
concern you?
does it
Why does
seem
it concern
strange?
you?
Why
What has
do
it
you-
got to do with you?
I just don't
Worry
get it.
about your singing, all right? Work on your singing and your tennis.
I don't
all right?
get why you
Work
just
on that.
don't
Don't
have
worry
them
about
all.
me putting them on little post-it notes.
All right.
All right?
Jeez, you're
Oh,
edgy.
yeah. Can I tell that gag I told you?
No,
Oh,
don't do
okay. When does a car stop being a car?
When?
The moment it turns into a driveway. What do you get when you cross a bear with a skunk?
Well, you've done this on
Have I?
before.
Well, I'm going with it
Oh,
again.
I can't remember.
Winnie the Pooh.
I don't normally listen.
Winnie the Pooh. I don't normally listen. Oh, no. Did I tell you that I'm not sure if I've gone with this and mentioned it before, but I was recently diagnosed with colour blindness.
Were you?
Yeah, it came completely out of the green. Scott didn't like it.
No. Scones did his back running on the weekend. He did.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me that. Running away from who? Who was he running? Muncher, might have been. What are the 4 most beautiful words in the English language?
What?
I told you so. Did you know, I read this the other day, this is very, very interesting. There's a 12-step group for compulsive talkers.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's called On and On and On. I know a few people that need to be in that too. My kitchen floor is been really sticky, but and I had to do I had to do something about it. Yeah, so I finally went out and bought some slippers. And I'll just finish up with this. What's the worst time? I shouldn't make fun of this because it's not funny, but what's the worst time to have a heart attack?
Oh, don't.
No, well, what's the worst time?
I don't know.
Or during a game of charades.
You actually had a couple of good ones in there.
Of course I did, yeah.
Worth listening to.
Yeah, good.
Tone.
Yeah, no
Thank
worries.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, you're very good. Well, thanks again, guys, for listening. We had a good 2 live audience here,
Yes.
Roland and Johnny B. We'll be back next week, and it'll be the morning. No, it won't. It'll be Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday.
It'll be Wednesday because obviously Tuesday is Anzac Day.
Yeah.
So we'll see you then, and we might see you at the footy on
Go
Monday night
Tigers.
as well.
Go Tigers.